Good morning. Come on, we know you're out there. Show your face, show your presence. How about a thumbs up or a comment? Okay, Lynn, thank you. Now, that's great. Okay, welcome aboard. Bruce Ferguson here from the Art of Fire in Damascus, Maryland, and today we're doing a theme of Lucky Charms. So good morning, Bridget, and good morning, Renee. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you with us. So anyway, what we've got on the agenda today. First off, we're going to be featuring our charity piece. We had a successful fundraiser back in November, December time frame for No Kids Hungry, and we're going to repeat it, but instead of making drinking glasses this time, we've got a specialty item developed by Todd Hansen, and that's what we're calling the Maryland Cat. After 37 years of the Maryland Renaissance Fair and also being located in Maryland, Todd has come up with a beautiful design for these sleeping cats, and we call these the Maryland colors. So those are the basic colors of your Maryland flag, and the special deal about these is they'll be available for the month of March. They're a special order item. They'll be signed and numbered. It'll be a limited edition. We're not going to be making a lot of these and won't be making them after the fact. And the idea is that for $60, half of it's going to go to No Kids Hungry, which is certainly a worthwhile charity. You all supported us with that a few months ago, and we're looking forward to it again. So those are the cats, and at the $60 fee for mailing within the U.S., that's included. But since we've gotten so many people from across the pond, international shipping will be a little extra, and you can contact us to find out how that works. Okay, so let's take a look at the winner from last week. And that was Antoinette Padano, and that ornament will be on its way to you. So congratulations. And that's our giveaway piece from last week. And if you comment, you'll be entered in the drawing for next week. And for next week's prize, we're going to give away this beautiful diamond optic ornament in a beautiful green color. And we're trying to feature things associated with St. Patrick's Day coming up. So let's see, in addition to the Maryland cat, what have we got on board? Well, we're going to have a pot of gold with handles, and we're going to have one of our beer mugs, but it'll be green for green beer. We're going to have a rocks glass with a 4-leaf clover imprinted in the bottom. We're not going to call it a Scotch glass because St. Paddy's Day is an Irish holiday, so put your Jameson in that. And then we'll have a rainbow rondelle, since everybody wants that pot of gold associated at the end of the rainbow. So here are some pieces featuring our green. Here's a cute little bowl made with rainbow colors, and the bowl itself is gold. So there you have your rainbow wrapped over the gold. Here's a similar one that Todd did almost 20 years ago, with a variety of rainbow colors in it. And we've got a lot of green on display here today. We've got a flattened pitcher with the twisted lines in it from going in the optic mold. We've got a tall trumpet-shaped base with the raked cane. We've also got stemless wine glasses. And this one right here is similar to what you'll see demonstrated, and it will have the shamrock in the bottom of it. So got a lot on display there. We don't actually have a green beer mug here for you to see today, the beer, but Josh will be making that later, and then you'll see it in live and living color. So without further ado, let's go over and see what Todd's got cooking for us. Good morning, Todd.
Hi, everybody.
All right, and we got a lot of everybody here. Okay. Okie doke. So Todd's going to be using these Fritz right here. He's our color expert, if you will. He's got a really good eye for mixing different colors together, and he's chosen the colors that will represent Maryland, because these are going to be Maryland cats, and that's the Fritz that you see in the bowl that's a little further away. And right here we've got the white Frit that will provide the background. And we want to thank Todd for making these, because He's already made over a dozen of them that have been ordered, so get your orders in and we'll be glad to get them shipped to you. And we'll just keep Todd as busy as a bee. He won't know what to do. Okay.
I don't know what to do anyway.
You don't know what to do anyway, but that's all right. Yes, Joanna, the colors are beautiful. All right, so Todd's taking his first gather out of our furnace. That furnace holds about 400 pounds of molten glass at a temperature, well, right now about 2,030 degrees. And you can see that as he moves along through the studio, he's got to keep the iron rotating or gravity pulls it toward the floor. And that's the whole deal. So now he'll initially shape that up a little bit. You'll notice the glass got a little further off the pipe and elongated. That's because of the pressure that he pushed down onto the rod, the stainless steel rod with, and that caused the glass to squeeze out a little further. It gives him more of a little working surface. So he's going to let that cool a little bit, and once it's cooled and stabilized some, he'll be able to go ahead at that point then and gather again. So we'll be getting a gather of the clear glass, then through the white. The white will get melted in, and then the colorful frit added to it. So Todd's back over to the furnace right now. And here he comes with even more glass. Now, because it's all clear to this point, it's a little more difficult to see an interior core, but as he puts more and more colors on it, you'll see these things add up. By tapping the hot glass in the frit, he's able to get it to adhere to the hot glass. And because that frit is so very fine, it's probably about the consistency of flour, it sticks right to the hot glass. If we were using large pieces of glass instead of that fine frit, we might have to preheat them in order to stick, because the hot glass sticks to hot glass better. But when they're such little bitty pieces, it doesn't matter. So we've changed our technical operation here a little bit today, so bear with me while I ask Josh a question. There was notation on there about a sound problem. Are we having any?
No, we're getting sound. Maybe if people can comment if they're getting sound or not.
Yeah, I saw Theta had answered somebody and I missed. So let's take a real good look at this frit right there. There's all those dots on there. Don't mistake it for sugar, please. No, we have no cakes baked. Okay, we got a couple people with sound, so our trouble is, if there's trouble, it's not on our end. Okie doke. So Todd's heating up the frit right now, and what he'll do in a few moments is he's going to stretch those dots of frit into lines, and the way he'll do that is to turn the iron in one direction only, and the friction of the glass against the metal tabletop will stretch it around. Okay, good. All right, I think we got it fairly well established that we've got good sound. All righty, so here we go. Notice he's turning in a clockwise direction. How long before somebody makes a crack about widdershins? I'm teasing. I started it, I got to deal with it. I love it. Okay, but you'll notice by turning in one direction, each of those little dots of color is now stretching out into a line. And that's basically a major technique that we use. We do that a lot when we want to create these lines in the glass. Please be sure and comment, share, and like. When you like, we like it because that lets us know we're doing something right. When you share with the folks you know, that gives us a little wider viewership. And there's your lines showing up in the glass right now. And I'll follow them around on that. Okay, so, and when you think Todd can make these cats in his sleep. Well, I've heard that instead of counting sheep, if he has difficulty sleeping, he counts cats, but that's an unconfirmed rumor. All right, so he stripped some of the glass back off in the furnace, but there's a little bit of extra clear on the tip. So he'll take his shears out of his pocket and just peel that off and cut it. going to pull that just a little further, and you can notice the taper coming out toward the outboard end, all right? And that's going to be where the glass thins for the narrowing of the cat's body and wrapping the tail around the body. So there's a very thin coating of clear glass all the way around the color. This helps us in the working, but it also improves the appearance of the final product. So you get a really good view there of the tapered shape. Now it's a matter of judging the heat, and this is a really critical point. If it were too hot, it would just fall all over the place. If it's not hot enough, it doesn't curl around. So the idea in this sleeping cat sculpture is that it's a tail wrapped around a sleeping cat. We also want the glass hot enough that as he pulls on it with the tweezers, it will eventually basically burn itself in half or apart. It's stretched so thin that it actually just pulls apart. And that way we don't have to cut it and put nasty shear marks on it. We'll see that in just a moment. So right now, he's letting the heat dissipate a little. Then when he's got what he wants, lets it drop, grabs the tip, and here we go with the winding. He turns the pipe away from himself and pulls the glass. Now watch the glass burn off, just like that. And that's because the glass was so very hot and he was able to pull it off. Now he's getting the ears. With the jacks now, he'll create a place to separate it from the pipe, just like we always do, but he's also going to try to make sure that's as flat as possible. So he's not going to cut it here yet, he's just squeezing it, and now he's going to go up with it, completely vertical, and that's going to help flatten it a little bit. It actually falls against the shears. Next step is to cut the cat free of the iron, and when he does, there'll be a little bulge or a scar-like area right where the pipe was attached. He'll have to heat that, and there you can see it.
It's an Audi.
An Audi? Yeah.
Maybe the Mini. Or more like
Or if you don't want an Audi, you want a Volvo. Okay, so we'll stop right there. He's going to heat the bottom of that, get it really hot, and then that central point, when he turns the cat over and presses on the marver, we're losing this one fast. He'll press down and it'll sit flat on the table. So you can't really see it happening there, but now you can tell he's got good contact all around. And that's how we can make your Maryland cat. Now it's off to the annealer, where it'll sit all day at around 900 degrees, and then when we turn off the annealer tonight, it'll gradually come down. Let's hear it for Todd. Thank you, Todd. Marvelous. Okay, and Bridget has a Maryland cat on order. Okay, very good. We hope all of you do. I'd like to reiterate that once more. This is a charity event. We're calling it Cats for Kids. These are Maryland cats, colored, inspired by the state of Maryland flag, and also the fact that we're associated with the Maryland Renaissance Festival. So there you have the cats. The cost on those is $60. Half of it goes to charity. Shipping overseas is extra. Limited edition. We're only doing this for the month of March. So during the month of March, get your orders in, and they will be signed by the artist and numbered, and then they disappear from production. All right, so there we go. There's the Maryland cat. Okay, and now, good morning, everybody. Okay, next we're going to have a pot of gold with a handle, and that's going to be Todd once more. So we'll get over and talk to him about the colors. We realize that there's a few techniques we haven't shown you yet, or probably a lot that we haven't shown you, but we thought it might be kind of fun with this whole idea of leprechauns and pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. Show you how we can put a handle on more or less a bucket shape, or a pot, if you will. So it's not going to have the bright colors and everything like you see right there on the bowl in the center. but we'll have a gold pot with a handle on it. And then we've also got a lot of other green glass here, kind of keeping in the St. Patrick's Day theme. We'll be making a beer mug. And the reason we call these beer mugs is not because we stumble over the words, but because it's a beer mug that looks like it's got beer in it. Unfortunately, that one's not green, but instead of photoshopping an image, we're going to have it done for real, live and right in front of you. Then we'll have the rocks glass. Quite often we'll call these Scotch glasses, but since the Irish is the holiday, here's a shamrock in the bottom, and that will be impressed in the glass. It's also visible when you look down into the cup. So we'll have those. And also we're going to do a rainbow rondelle. We had one on this demonstration probably about 3 or 4 months ago. We're going to do it again. And anyway, we're here with the St. Patrick's Day theme. So let's find out what Todd's got going for us. Yes, sir. A pot of gold with a handle. Okay. A shamrocks glass. That's a good one, Bridget. I said we weren't going to call it a whiskey glass, a Scotch glass, because of honoring Ireland instead of Scotland. But Bridget came up with a shamrocks glass. We like that. Okay, so the guys are getting set up with the equipment, getting some irons out and ready to go, and the color distribution. So let's find something else to look at or talk about. Let's take a look at an annealer. It's been a while, and I think we've got some of you that haven't been around all the time. So these are our annealers along the back row. They're basically just big boxes of bricks attached to a heat source. And the idea in annealing is that we want to gradually reduce the stress in a piece of glass. Normally, if we were to take a piece that we've made and set it on the floor, it would break within just a few minutes because the internal stresses of the glass would pull it apart. You've probably heard me say it before, that being in a nice organized states like quartz or something like that, at the molecular level, the glass looks more like somebody got some bad mushrooms or something like that. It's really kind of helter-skelter. So what we can do to ease the stress is to slowly let the heat come out of it. So you can even see our dials right here. We're taking the temperature on the annealer. We try to keep that right around 900 degrees through the day, and then we'll put a piece of glass in it. And we have nothing in here yet, do we, Josh? Nothing in there? Okay. So what we'll do is throw open a door and let you take a look in. And that really is just a big box of bricks. But what we'll do is we'll put a piece of glass in there, and for our glass, the critical range is between about 900 degrees and let's call it 7 or 750. Between those temperatures is when the glass, if it cools too quickly, stands the greatest chance of shattering. So by having this box of bricks and turning off the heat source at the end of the day, we're able to let it cool down gradually. So that cooling process, the annealing, takes many hours. If we make really thick pieces of glass, it takes even longer. It's because the middle and the outer layers of the glass cool at different rates. And we're ready to go, and there goes Todd gathering from the furnace. So here we go. He's going to sing for you today rather than whistle. We'll get the whistle too. So what have we got here, like a gold brown?
This is the Irish gold. I'm going to use this for gold inside the pot.
Okay.
I might put a little more on here to let that in. A little bit more.
Antoinette asked, where do we get our stamps? Well, I just bought one that was a skull stamp on Amazon. And Foster owns the one that we have for the shamrocks, and he's had that for ages. And when we get him around here, we'll ask him where that came from. but you can order a lot of these things online. So Todd is now gathering up a color called Iris Gold, and he'll get this fully coated, and this will be his gold on the inside of his pot. Good morning, Laura. Welcome, Jennifer. Glad to have all of you with us. Got any questions? Let them fly. Comments too. Anytime you use a comment, that enters you in a drawing for a free piece. Last week's piece, we'll take a quick look over here, is going to Antoinette, and it's this beautiful ornament. Next week's giveaway piece will be this diamond optic ornament. Foster, Antoinette was asking about the source of the stamps, and you have that ages-old clover leaf or shamrock. Where'd that come from?
That came out of the West Virginia, one of the West Virginia industries. We had befriended a number of individuals in some of the different industries, and I was able to purchase that four-leaf clover front stamp.
Cool.
Yep.
So it's cut out of carbon, isn't it? Carbon? The material?
The face of the... Well, that's an interesting question. I don't believe that it is.
Oh, okay.
It's a metal stamp.
Okay. So Todd has put a little bit of air under pressure in the pipe, and you can see the bubble in there. And right now, he's shaping the glass, preparation for his next gather.
Yeah, it's a metal stamp.
Oh, okay. It is a metal stamp. So lots of times these things can be made of metal, or, there we go, we'll get the stem pointing down. There's our stamp that we use for the shamrock or four-leaf clover. And that one is metal. So if you have a metal worker or somebody that can carve out those shapes for you, or if you can create your own by making a positive and then dropping some hot metal onto it, go for it. When Todd holds the iron at an angle like that with his right hand held high, he's letting the glass drizzle back into the furnace so that we don't have to recycle that. And he'll still probably cut a little bit off. If he's got more glass than he wants, he just peels it off with the shears and then cuts it. But the bulk of what he put back went right into the furnace. Ramiro wants to know, since each of us are famous glass blowers, do we all have signed 8x10s? Now, I have a signed 2x4 that my father used to use on me, but 8x10s, that's just getting a little bit excessive. Okay, so Todd's got the inner coating of the Iris Gold, and here he goes through the white. Good morning, Marianne. Welcome to have you. Welcome aboard, and say hi to everybody. Renee Jennifer, welcome. We've got a few names in here. Some of them I recognize from just about every week, but some of you might have been a little while. Okay, so Todd's in the process of making us a gold pot with a handle. The main reason is so you can see how a handle goes on to an open vessel. You've seen us put handles on beer mugs. In fact, you'll see one after a little while. But those go on the side of the vessel. And if you put a handle, kind of like a strap, if you will, over the top of the vessel, it's a little bit different. Okay, so he's getting a couple of coats of white on here. And then after that, what'll it be? Black? Okay, so he's going to do a couple of coats of white. And this is going to be a layer in between the colors. And he's got the gold in the middle. Hello, Michael Herman. Come on. Yay! Michael, everybody else is going to start wondering why we start cheering at Michael. I mean, we should really... Okay, David Hogan's watching. Yay! Ah, Jennifer Fine-Casliv is watching. Yay! I think we'd get tired of doing that. Okay, okay. So he's got the color, the white on it now, and it's time to shape the glass. Notice the angle of the glass on the table. He had his hands down low and pushed the glass off the table. Oh, I'm going to cheer for Joanna. Joanna, yay! Okay. All right, so you can see that Todd's got this shape going here. He's got a taper gradually up toward the middle from the pipe, and then it tapers down toward the end of the gather. This is going to facilitate his gathering, and he'll probably be doing the black next. Okie doke. Ah, and the ever-present sip of coffee. Exactly. Well, Michael, you've made enough of our days. We're glad we can make your day. Okay. What does everyone at Art of Fire think of Blown Away? Well, we're pleased with anything that brings attention to the world of glass blowing. And I have not watched season 2 yet. And I know that they put the whole thing out, but I tell everybody around here, don't give me any spoilers. In fact, even though I know the final results, I haven't seen the very end of season 1. So I got to catch up on that. What do you think about Blown Away? Josh, is it an enjoyable show? Like it? Yeah?
And we're familiar with Cat Burns,
Mm-hmm.
the contestant. She's a really interesting artist.
Okay.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Have you watched Blown Away, Todd? No. Okay. Todd sees enough glass blowing right here.
That's right.
So you'll notice too that he gathered in between layers. Okay, that helps to separate the colors a little bit. Okay, so if he'd gathered the black directly over the white, they would have intermixed a lot, and that could give you some issues with the coloration of the piece. So by putting a thin coating of clear in between the gathers of color. Welcome, Ann Hope. Glad to have you with us. Okay. So anyway, having that clear in between the color layers helps keep them separated a little bit, and visually it's just a little more interesting. And the white provides a nice background to any types of colors. He's got a gold interior on this. We use